You can not only brighten and increase the radiance of your own emanations, your own vibration, but if you're already soaring pretty high, hey, time for a new level of expansion. Let's start radiating it out bigger. Not pushing it on anybody. You see the difference? Not pushing it on anybody. Some people don't even want your bliss pushed on them. And they'll get really annoyed if you do it. But no, I mean more subtly. We're all radiating something, and it's having an impact. It's impacting the world. So what is it that we're radiating? And we want it to be as high on the instrument panel as it possibly can be. And what an assignment that is. Remember that blog I wrote called My Job is to Be Happy? I realized that one day. Whoa, wow. It's pretty obvious that my job is to help people be happy. I mean, you know, sometimes at parties when people say, what do you do? I say, I help people get happy really fast. But then I realized that really my job is to be happy. Because that's at the core of it all. And you know, that's what I see happening with the people who are influencing others the most with divine openings, is they've gotten that their job is to be happy. Like Emily, I think Emily's on here somewhere, who's a physician. She's just making people happy. And then they get well. And then she's happier because her job's easier. Laura's doing that same thing as a school counselor. There's a great video on the, I think the retreats page about retreats, about how in her regular job, she is emanating and making people happy. That's what we do. I mean, oh, what a great job. Can I have that job? Can I have that job? Yes, you can have that job. All of you actually already have this job. Just step up and collect the paycheck, okay? It's waiting on you. It's right there. It's yours. See, I make lists of tasks for people who work with me for me. Here's your top priority. Here's your descending order priorities. Well, your number one priority on your task list is find ways to be happy. No matter what, no matter how. Much as you can, fast as you can. And sometimes that pull to being happy seems very subtle. We mucked around a while thinking, well, maybe we should move. Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should build a pool. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should do that. And none of the directions felt right, so the doors did not blow open. You know, when we thought about moving closer to LA, no, the doors didn't blow open. But when we said, maybe we should move to the area east of San Diego. Scott loves San Diego. I always wanted to live in San Diego, even tried it for 6 months in 1990, didn't make it. My body feels really good there. It's almost like everything just sort of aligns there somehow. It's fun city. We love going out dancing for hours, and they're just around here. It's just like, believe it or not, it's just not happening much around here. It's real hit or miss. Scott said, on a given night in San Diego, you could pick 15 places. That would be great. And I started to go. He's got some relatives there too. He has 2 daughters that live in the area where we're going to go, and they've got grandkids, which we just happen to have a pony for them now that we didn't plan that grandkids would probably ever even see, because they don't travel here. They would always, have us travel there, or ask us to travel there. So everything just aligned. And the minute we made that decision, it was really more my decision. It just felt right. And we did muck around a while. The wrong direction, wrong, can't go wrong, but not as light and effusive a direction. I cannot tell you how liberated and how much more light and spacious I feel that the minute we said, aha, you know, that moment the light bulb comes on, it was like, boom. I put the house on Zillow. It sold in 5 days for some crazy amount. I mean, so realtors said, you did what? No realtor, you sold it for what? And somebody said, well, how'd you know how much to ask? We just said, we just decided how much we wanted. We didn't do a real estate market analysis. But also know that this house is filled with light. It's radiant. People have always walked in here and said, I mean, repairmen, wow, this place just feels so peaceful. And we'd just smile. Yeah. And the people who bought it, the guy said that. He's real energy sensitive. And he said, you know, the last time I felt this one is when I went to the vortexes in Sedona. And I said, well, there's one here too. And he goes, well, how do you do that? Oh, well, you create one. We all create one. Just most people aren't doing it on purpose. And he goes, well, you're going to leave that here, aren't you? And I went, well, of course. We'll make a new one at the new house. So 5 days after that decision was made in a real estate market that's kind of like, it was done. And we were clear. So we've appreciated every last little drop out of this place. And now we're kind of like, okay, we're done. Some people would go, this is interesting too. Feel this in your own life. And of course, feel all of this in your own life. Okay? I'm only telling this story because, you know, it's like when we read inspiring biographies and so forth, it's very vibration strengthening, okay? Some people said, well, God, it's so gorgeous. I've never seen anything like this view out over the valley and those mountains that look like they're right in your face. How could you leave here? And isn't that the way humans think? Like, how could you leave that? Because we felt it, because we're done. And when your large self has expanded and moved off, following your own heart's desires, and then we hold back for the reasons, whatever. Oh, this is great. We don't need to go anywhere. Oh, that's a lot of trouble to move. I even thought about, well, I hope Cara can sustain working long distance because she's fabulous. Been here 2 years. She works full time. A previous assistant in Texas didn't make it after I left. She kind of melted down. She was relying on my energy more than either of us realized. And when I left, she broke down. And, you know, it broke down, but I believe Cara is good, and Claudia. And the rest of the team is all over the world anyway. So that was one little fear that you know had to be kind of moved beyond. Like, it'll all be okay, no matter what. But preferably, of course, I'd keep Cara. So that's good. We'll just meet by webinar like this instead of our Tuesday morning meetings. that we only see each other in the flesh 2 hours a week anyway. So it's a virtual world, folks. Isn't it great? So the pull isn't always radical. Sometimes the pull just has you feeling like, explore. There's something, I don't know what it is, but boy, when you hit it, stuff starts happening when you hit it. And when you start to follow it and when you let it take you, that's called being in the flow. So those are some physical, real world examples of this feeling that I've been having more than ever. It's an expansion. Again, things were great. Things were great. But this is an expansion. The wheels got greased some more. I'm feeling more in the flow than ever before. The buyers commented how smooth all this is going. They're ecstatically happy. They'd been looking for this house, mid-century modern, gorgeous view for a year. So they were ecstatic and still are and cannot wait to move in. And during this process, we would rave about how smooth everything was going, and she'd get a little nervous. She's a real kind of, uses the brain really well, but sometimes people who use the brain really well get caught up in the brain and get a little nervous about things. And I'd go, we have this feeling that we're rolling on wheels. And she goes, I think I'm going to adopt that. And I thought, what a brilliant idea. We can pattern ourselves. We can repattern ourselves after someone who's doing it well. Because what we accidentally did when we were younger is patterned ourselves after others. And maybe they were doing it smooth and maybe they were not. Maybe they were doing it really bumpy. So we got patterned. Now you get to choose to pattern yourself after. Of course, be yourself. I mean, pattern the energy, pattern the smoothness, pattern the flow, pattern how that person seems to vibe, how that person seems to feel as they move through the world. That's what I mean, pattern yourself after. I always found it was a mistake to want to be somebody, like them, wanting to be like them. But, we can pattern ourselves. There are tons of stories about someone who idolized somebody and kind of vibed after them, and it helped them succeed. Tons and tons and tons of stories. Whether it was their favorite singer that they wanted to vibe like that, or their favorite politician that they wanted to vibe like that, or their favorite teacher that they wanted to inspire people like that. So when Jerry, the woman of the two buyers, said, I want to adopt that, I thought, yeah, and she did it. She adopted that. And then she started to feel that smoothness, and everything went ahead of schedule, and everything's just flowing like liquid gold. Yeah. And then you add your own pieces. You decide to laugh more every day. Scott and I have a habit of making each other laugh, putting that little zinger in there at just the right timing, so to make them laugh. When they're not expecting something, you zing one in there. just doing fun things. We drove to Carpinteria night before last to find a new place to eat food, eat. Found this great Thai restaurant. So how wonderfully are you treating yourself?